I'm Reverend Spaceman. I'm just waiting for someone to interrupt me here now, and it doesn't seem to be happening.
We're not in space, by the way.
Don't listen to him. This is out of the loop. It's the second time we've done this. Don't expect him to be this frequent.
No.
They will be scattered out occasionally and released just whenever. It's the thing with me and Dave, because we've never seen any movies in our whole lives.
Like 5 of them and not the good ones?
Yeah. That's where the term Daving comes from, because all the movies he's seen are terrible, and so you just hate everything because of that. Like Minions. So, we challenge each other to watch a movie and then that the other hasn't seen at the recommendation of one of us. So last time I challenged Dave to watch Monty Python's Life of Brian, and he challenged me to watch,
The
Fight Club.
Yeah, that's the last one.
Which I actually went back and watched again after we recorded it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm very happy you enjoyed it so much. And again, how could you not?
Yeah.
It's such a great film.
It is. This week we'll be talking about, I'm saying week as if that's going to be a weekly thing. On this episode,
we're doing it on
maybe
a
if
day
they binge
that falls
listen,
within
it
a
might
week.
Yeah. You won't know the difference. On this episode, I challenged Dave to watch Monty Python's Life of Brian, and I watched Goldfinger.
The collab, because you've never seen a James
I've never
Bond
seen a
film.
Bond movie
And I thought,
until this.
Of course you're going to start with Connery.
Yeah.
I did debate a couple other ones, but I was like,
That's kind of the one.
let's go with Goldfinger.
Yeah. So I guess Life of Brian first.
Sure.
Initial thoughts
Initial
going
thoughts.
into it.
Yeah, what'd you think before and after, during?
Before I knew of the film.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a very famous film. It's been around
79.
79. Yeah, so it's been around a while. I've heard a lot. Obviously, I've seen some Monty Python stuff here and there. Holy Grail, most notably. I think
Probably their most famous.
Yeah, what most people have probably done. Again, I liked Life of Brian, but I think I liked Holy Grail a little bit more. But for some reason, I thought going in that it was about Jesus' brother. Like his less.
I can understand that because
I definitely
there is a connection like that.
It's not really that. It's more he keeps getting mistaken for some kind of Messiah.
Yeah, not necessarily Jesus.
Yeah.
Just another one. There were a lot of messiahs back then, and he's just another one.
Yeah, man. Like the film opens with the wise men showing up to the manger, and they go into Brian's manger.
Yeah.
He was also born in a manger.
Yeah, on the same night. Just like,
wait, wrong one.
Yeah.
And they leave, and his mother, who I assume is played by a man.
Probably. It's Monty Python.
It's very British.
Yeah.
Very Monty Python, at least from what I've seen. I'm certainly no expert on them, but
really me neither.
Yeah, very British. I guess if I had any sort of nitpicking criticisms, it feels more like the scenes feel more like kind of individual sketches and a little less cohesive as just the full narrative.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of how comedy movies worked back then. Some of them.
Well, I mean, yes, obviously it's a product of its time. It's very British. It's a kind of a different style,
British?
I guess, than. I mean, those accents. I assume so. I don't claim to be any kind of geographical accent expert. It could have been a German movie. I thought it was British. It came off British to me. Maybe it wasn't. I don't want to offend anyone out there. That's Reverend Spaceman's job.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I mentioned this movie is pretty offensive to some people.
It was banned in Britain.
It's a joke.
For years. For blasphemy.
It's obviously a comedy.
Yeah.
So, it's not serious at all.
No.
Get your classic scene, the always look on the brighter side of life.
Yeah.
Again, which I knew of. But it's like, okay,
in context,
yeah, there it is. Yeah, they now have the context for it. But, I liked it overall.
Some good life lessons in that song.
Yeah, you've always, no matter what happens, you've got to look on the brighter side.
Yeah. Everything is absolutely terrible, so you should just laugh at everything. I like that. Yeah.
Words to live by.
Pretty much, yeah.
Especially when you're being crucified.
Yeah. So did you like it more than you expected, or less? About the same?
I mean, I didn't really have any expectations as to how much I would or wouldn't like it. So, I guess it met expectations. I get you hear it's one of these classic kind of. You'd say it's a cult film, really, but one of these classic
I put it
films
in that category.
Yeah.
That you always hear. I guess it is a big
not the biggest cult, but it's got that whole Monty Python itself kind of is a cult.
in the culture enough.
Yeah.
You know,
Because I think
just
more
be a cult
people,
film.
because more people know about Holy Grail, you know.
Yeah.
Not as many people
Yeah,
have seen
that's
this one.
I guess this would be the second film to kind of discover.
Yeah. Yeah, Holy Grail is kind of your, you know.
Yeah, that's the.
But this is actually the one I started with before I did, yeah. Because I remember at some point in.
Is that why you like it more?
Maybe. I don't know, actually. I have to go back and rewatch
Seems
it.
a
Yeah, I
bit
know
more
for
up
me,
your alley
just-
with the blasphemy.
It does, yeah. I think that was a big part of it, too. Because there was a night when the four of us and Zach of Team Bastard and this other guy were in this.
Some of our frequent collaborators.
Yeah. We were in the studio drinking, and I got extremely drunk. And one of the things I did was a whole lot of blasphemy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Their videos, they won't surface
You'll never see
until
them.
we're much more famous, and it
Yeah.
really affects
On
us.
Yeah.
TMZ.
And then even then I'll blur my face out because I don't want people to. You know, I'll edit it with the capybara over my face
Yeah.
the whole
I don't
time.
think it's how those like released videos really work, but,
Yeah.
or maybe it is. Of course,
I don't
you know,
know.
if it's a sex tape.
Yeah, I've got one of those in the pipeline too. But yeah,
Great production value.
absolutely.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
No, that was the Rob Lowe sex tape.
Couldn't tell the difference. It's
No,
like
I thought it was Richard.
You just had the bare face
yeah,
instead.
shot for shot remake. But yeah, it was my first Monty Python movie. That might be why I like it better. And the blasphemy, obviously. But I just kind of remember in middle school, a bunch of people were going on about the Holy Grail, and I was like, "What's that?" But then I heard it was Monty Python. I was like, I kind of want to check it out. But then I just saw Life of Brian at a video store.
Remember when those were a thing?
Yeah, it was
I miss those.
It was for sale actually for like $5, and that's the DVD copy you watched, the very one.
Yeah, you actually provide it. We usually,
Yeah,
maybe one of the few times we've ever actually provided the content
yeah,
for each other.
and Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
But so
Great
yeah,
movies, by the way.
yeah.
they're fine. But
Rewatched
Yeah.
those
That was-
myself
That
recently.
was pre the official.
yeah, it was
The
more.
official movie
Yeah.
out of the loop thing.
It was just kind of just doing a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I watched it and I was like, this is really good. And I kind of revisit it maybe once every 5 or 6 years. I've been meaning to do that recently, actually.
See that?
Yeah.
What kind of rating?
Yeah.
You want my
Yes.
typical
Yes.
rating?
Best rating.
Yeah.
Do your rating, and then if you can translate it. Again, sorry.
Yeah. Monty Python's Life of Brian. If a brick wall was okay, sweet and sour sauce is like exceptional, but not in a good way. And
That is how I feel on sweet and sour sauce.
This is the most impressive part of the program right here.
it's
and
what-
if Brian from Family Guy were in the movie instead of Brian from
the life of
The Life of Brian, I would give it 17 George Costanzas.
Nice.
I think that sounds fair. I think that
Yeah.
is an adequate.
I think it's
It's like
completely fair.
the B category.
Yeah.
If I'm trying to
If that's how you-
interpret,
if that's how you want to-
if I'm interpreting,
It's just
I
for
don't
me
know.
to put out there for you
Okay.
guys to interpret.
I would have thought 17 Kramers, but you know,
I
difference
don't,
in
I don't totally disagree. But
difference in opinion there. Yeah. All right, so
Goldfinger.
I watched Goldfinger.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. First time ever seen a Bond movie. That said,
Finally.
yeah. That said,
Again, another reason why I was so surprised because we're both big Archer fans.
yeah. And I grew up
Obviously, that
watching.
show is again. He doesn't like to invite the comparison, but
Yeah.
it's a very spy,
It was very much
very
inspired
James
by.
Bond.
Yeah. Adam Reed went and read the original Bond novels.
That's
It's like,
right.
You know, man, this guy's an asshole. I should make a character that's exactly like it. Really, that's
Yeah.
Archer.
I think Sean Connery is more faithful to that
Yeah,
era.
for me.
Is more faithful to
Yeah.
the books.
I
But
haven't
I've read
the
any
books.
of the books. But
I agree, and I've never seen, but this movie
now
never
you,
read
yeah,
the books.
and
But,
you're gonna go watch all of them. Like, they're not all great.
Well, I mean, all right. I guess to get into it, yeah, I've never seen a Bond movie. I've watched Archer. I've seen the Austin Powers movies, both of which are pretty straight up parodies.
Everybody
Yeah.
has their conception of Bond, even if
Yeah.
you haven't seen
Even if-
a film, just because it's so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an iconic
So,
character.
you know,
You've
well
seen,
known.
You've seen something that parodies it to
Yes.
some degree.
Yes.
Probably the one that comes to mind most Dexter's lab. There was this episode where like he was going through some real troubles to not get photos of his secret lab developed that his mom was accidentally going to develop. And he goes into this whole underground group of like photo developers, and they take this like camera with a really high flash and end up chaining him to a table and do the whole like laser towards crotch scene. And he even says like,
oh yeah, that's
and
everything.
Yeah, he even says like, Dexter's like, do you expect me to talk? And he's like, no, Dexter, I expect you to die. So yeah, it's the most parodied scene
you
ever.
could say that in cartoons.
Yeah, we can't now. They've kind of loosened up on that. They can say crap now.
What?
Yeah.
What kind of cartoons are you watching?
Regular show. They even say pissed on there a few times.
Get out.
Man, if I had children.
Get out.
I know.
I might have some kids just so I can watch it.
Well, it's not. I wouldn't go that far.
Because by the time you have kids and they're old enough to watch it, we'll be out of the loop of good stuff and we'll be back to like, shit.
I'm going to be like 50 and have little kids. It's like, teach me about culture now.
I'm going to be like 80 and then have kids.
Yeah.
Go the old man route.
Yeah, like
25-year-old wife.
It's good enough I can die now.
Yeah.
That's, said I did it, I did it just to do it.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'll be dead in a year.
Yeah. But to actually talk about the movie itself, I said in a text, and I might have overblown this a little bit, but I said my thoughts were complicated but generally positive. It's not a movie you take like too seriously.
No.
It's not, and I didn't think it would be. It's kind of what I figured all of the Bond movies are, more or less. Especially the older ones.
Not so much the more recent ones.
Yeah. But I mean, it's. I think one thing that I liked about this is the puns and the fact that they catch you off guard, because like nowadays when a pun happens in a movie, it's kind of like the dialogue builds up to it, then they say it, and this they're just so nonchalantly just like, oh, he blew a fuse. They just like fly by you and you don't even realize it because he's just so casual about it. The funny parts are funny. It's really like feels like a smaller, self-contained type movie that you don't see now. It almost felt like an episode of a show.
Yeah.
I understand why it's a classic. Like I said, generally positive. I don't really have anything bad to say about it, for the most part.
Well, I mean, another thing you have to consider is like pretty much every Bond movie is a product of its time.
Yeah.
Which I think is the beauty of the Bond movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you go back from the '60s, it's kind of like a fair representation of like the '60s culture, '70s, and they just happen to have like these cool gadgets and stuff like that. Because at the time, we're during the whole spy age, we're kind of like, oh, we don't know what kind of technology the governments really have, so let's make up some cool stuff. And of course, like the current, possibly fading Craig era, Daniel Craig era.
I heard he was offered $150 million to stay on for like 2 more films while they transition a younger actor into the role.
It's a rumor.
I'm kind of just ready for it.
I don't care about it.
Just leave.
The whole
Let's get a
tradition
new one.
of Bond has been different guys. I don't care if it's just another guy who does 1 or 2 movies, and then I don't really care about the age as much.
Yeah.
I would rather not see a young Bond who stays and does 10 movies.
Yeah. It's kind of why I liked Sean Connery in this one. He was just kind of like not a young. I mean,
I don't know off the top of my head how many he actually did.
This was the 3rd one that he did.
Connery?
Yeah.
I want to say he did about 6.
6 is my guess off the top of my head right now.
So he came back
So
for
I remember
another
he
one.
came back for 1. I didn't know if
Yeah.
that was 6 or 7. I think it may be 6.
I think that was the 6th
Pierce
one that he
Brosnan
did.
come back for. I have nothing against Pierce Brosnan.
He was great, but his movies are some of the weaker
except for
Bond
Diamond
movies.
Day.
I think he has the best look for a Bond.
yeah.
Like when you're just
Like-
thinking of what a Bond would look
Yeah.
like, he's got the best
Yeah,
look.
like anytime I think of Bond, he's usually the first person that
Yeah.
comes to mind just because he's
Just
got
that classic look.
Oh, yeah.
I was also surprised that Sean Connery didn't sound like Bane in this one.
He's still a young man.
Yeah. I mean, he hit the accent well enough too. Kind of, more British,
For
but
what he did.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
him.
it slipped out. I mean,
that goes to show, just all the parodies and stuff you'd
Yeah.
heard before actually
Yeah.
seeing the film, just what you thought it would be.
Yeah, because I mean,
And
it
talking
did-
like Bane the whole time in the 60s.
and it slipped out a few times.
Yeah.
Like he blew a fuse, but it wasn't like it wasn't his whole voice, which
No.
I was actually impressed by that.
Yeah.
And he doesn't look like Sean Connery back then. I mean, he does, but like,
Because it is.
yeah, but like
You're used to seeing
Yeah.
the notion you have of
yeah,
him
if
today.
I didn't know this was Sean Connery and someone kind of introduced me to
He hasn't always had light hair.
Yeah, I'd figure it out, but it would have taken me a while. I'd be like,
He hasn't
that's
always
fine.
been old.
I'm sure he has.
Is this your favorite Bond movie, Dave?
Hard to pick a favorite. Maybe that or From Russia with Love. But,
That's a good one.
It's my favorite of the ones I've seen.
yeah,
By default.
It's hard to pick a favorite. I'm a big fan of the franchise in general, but it's definitely like top 3 for sure.
Now, will you continue with some Connery, or do you want to knock out the Craig
Yeah, you
stuff?
want to try to do some other Bonds?
If you,
I think
the next one you watch, will it
the
be
next one
Connery, or
will-
are you gonna do Casino Royale with Daniel Craig?
Because that's a totally very different.
Oh,
movie.
yeah.
I might.
But it's
check
actually the first James Bond book.
Yeah.
Casino Royale.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, I might go just straight into Craig and then kind of work my way back.
Backtrack,
Yeah.
just to catch up to the
Yeah.
modern and kind of
Yeah.
have you can have that
Craig Bond
judge.
movies.
Because I'm not ready to just go on a Bond marathon
Yeah.
after this one, but I'll watch more.
Yeah, yeah.
There are a lot of films.
They're always
Yeah.
on TV too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
Like,
say
I've seen-
I really just like that it's from the era when a PG movie could have a character named Pussy Galore.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And again, it's
Very
just,
Have a
lame.
movie called Octopussy.
yeah, it was just so like blatantly like, oh, Pussy Galore, Miss Galore, come here, show him around, Pussy. I'm like, oh. All right.
Meow.
Yeah. I also love that this was before feminists had any say in cinema, very clearly. Because like the first scene is him like making out with some chick right out of the shower, and then a guy's about to attack him, and he just turns around and has him hit her instead, and then he
That's
just
half of the Bond movies.
yeah.
That's
like,
the iconic Bond girls you get each film
Yeah.
too. Which is,
Yeah, usually
Been a
when
mainstay.
the
They
first
don't-
Bond girl dies, the other one's
Yeah.
a villain usually.
yeah.
They change up a bit, but usually that's
Mhm.
how it goes. Like
Yeah.
the first, they're usually the good guy, they usually end up dying, and then the other ones...
that's how that female is going to be popular the rest of her life.
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
You were a Bond girl.
It does, it does something for their career.
Mhm.
And I did like how the first like scene was just completely disconnected from the movie. It was just kind of like here's the end of another
Yeah, it's like
Bond movie that we've never seen, and then just gets into the I liked
You know,
I
this
liked
isn't
that.
his only mission.
Yeah, it's just kind
He
of
does other stuff.
I
He
think
stays
pretty much.
busy.
I think pretty much all the Bond movies have that cold open where he's kind of finishing up a mission,
Yep.
yeah.
and then after he finishes the mission, that's when you have like the silhouette of him walking out, shoots
Yeah.
the camera,
Yep.
and then the.
Yeah.
Also, fun fact about Bond: Ian Fleming, the person who created Bond, is cousins with Sir Christopher Lee,
Yep.
who actually it was inspired to write James Bond after Christopher Lee from hearing his tales of serving in World War II.
Yeah. Even though Lee himself never played Bond.
He did.
Did he?
He was a Bond villain.
Oh. I said never played Bond, as in he was never James
No, he was never
Yeah.
James Bond.
That's what I meant.
Um,
I didn't know that actually. Which one was that?
Hmm?
Which one had Christopher Lee in it?
Watch, isn't it?
It might be.
I would have to.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember. I would have to look that up. But
There's so many of them.
Yeah.
You get confused with
yeah, but yeah, I just thought that was
what's
like
happened.
Or something.
really cool.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Because
Lord of
Christopher.
the Rings connection there too.
whatever. Star Wars connection. More
Yeah,
important.
Star Wars connection. I mean, again, Christopher Lee.
He's been in a lot. He's done a lot. I mean, it's
Dracula.
been in like 100
Yeah.
movies.
And
Yeah.
again,
Well,
just an
yeah,
incredibly
he's
fascinating guy. Like just
Dracula to the old, and then even with the younger kids like us, seeing him as Dooku.
Yeah.
You know, he had
Or Saruman.
He had every
As
yeah,
Dooku.
and Saruman. He had every generation covered, which is
Yeah.
like, you can't say that about many
Put
actors.
out
No.
2 metal albums near the end of his life.
in his
Yes.
90s,
And they're good
And he
too.
predates the genre.
by like 40 years.
Yeah.
And
He
one could
created
argue,
metal.
yeah, one could argue that because like Tony
Yeah.
Iommi and the other band members of Black Sabbath got their inspiration by watching a lot of his old movies like Dracula, and they're like, oh, we need to have like darker tones and lyrics to our songs. So in a way, he inadvertently
I actually
helped
just
create
finished
the genre.
watching the movie Black Sabbath, where Black Sabbath got their name from, which is pretty neat to.
That
That
wasn't.
wasn't.
Pretty cool. It's like 3 anthology stories, vampire, and then just the last segment's a vampire. One segment's a girl who keeps getting mysterious calls, but it's kind of that old horror anthology they used to
Yeah.
kind of do and bunched up together. It was really cool.
Like VHS, except not shitty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of these days I'll check it out.
So, I guess to give it a rating,
Yes.
I'd say probably like a high 8.5.
Cool.
out of 10. I can't be as elaborate as Dave.
Nobody
Not
can.
as
No.
precise, no. But, yeah, like, I mean, it's not... I mean, they're classics, of course. They're not, like, gonna...
They're not like Oscar.
Yeah, they're not...
No, they're very... They're
Yeah.
almost like Marvel and
Yeah.
DC,
Yeah.
type movies of
They're
that.
very much of that.
You know, they're not going to win all these
Yeah.
big
They're
drama
gonna-
awards, but they're
I mean,
fun,
They're going to change
action,
the world.
a lot of
you
fun
know,
movies.
They're not going to change the
of
world.
that generation.
They're going to inspire other
Before we
movies.
got into all the superhero franchise and everything
Yeah.
as a franchise now, there was the Bond
Yeah.
franchise,
Yeah. I mean,
which
this
has been
is
going on since the 60s.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
Continuous.
right
stuff.
before
Yeah.
Star Trek, definitely before Star Wars. You know, you had the
Yeah.
Bond stuff.
Yeah. So, yeah, 8.5, maybe more like
Cool.
an 8.7, I'd say, but that's just an 87.
And there's so much
Very
for you to
glad you
discover
enjoyed it.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it opens
That's-
the doors.
It's the beginning of the whole thing.
Doors of perception.
So, yeah, now me and Dave kind of have a bonus one.
Yeah,
'Cause,
which we'll address before we do. We
Yeah.
challenge each
yeah.
other to the next one.
So, I just kind of stumbled across this. It's something I'd heard of, never really, like, watched myself, but I'd heard good things and was like, you know what, I'm going to finally watch this. It's kind of a mini-series, but it was condensed into a movie, so fuck it, it counts.
I actually did watch the episodes. I didn't watch the movie.
Yeah, that's what I did. But it's called Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolt. Set during the conflict of the first Gundam series, the 1 Year War. It kind of follows this like these two groups of Earth Federation and Xeon, which were the factions fighting in in that series, and these little segments of those factions are stationed in the Thunderbolt sector, which is the the debris from destroyed space colony that's kind of plagued with lightning and electric storms and stuff. Hence the name, the Thunderbolt region. And it kind of takes your typical Gundam tropes, where you have the hero of the story pilots a Gundam and kind of saves everyone from the Xeon bad guys. And even though there's always a little bit of gray area, it's the higher ups in the Earth Federation are kind of crooked, and the Xeon is kind of shitty all around, but the ground level people are generally good, but Xeon is usually more a bad guy. This one kind of flipped that, because the guy piloting the Gundam is a complete psychopath.
Yeah, it threw me off because the first episode I think is mostly about him.
Yeah.
And he's the main reason I watched Gundam on Tanami as a kid.
Yeah.
I really don't keep up with it. Certainly not to the extent that
I do.
Spaceman
Yeah.
here does. But considering that it was they're maybe 16-minute episodes, just
Yeah.
4 episodes. But the main thing, because I know we had made a somewhat recent trip to our local comic shop.
Yeah.
On the way back, or maybe at 2, I don't know. Not important.
Yeah.
But music is a big thing about this one, and being a music fan that I am.
Yeah.
That attracted me to this, certainly more than I guess the other myriad Gundam and other robot transformery series.
Well, you didn't watch it because you love Pacific Rim?
No, that didn't. It was better than Pacific Rim.
I agree with you on that, actually.
But anyway, I like the dichotomy of the Xeon guy.
Yeah, in the...
His whole thing is about jazz. He just listens to jazz and it's
No,
pirate. Or not.
That's, Xeon was the Zaku guy. The Gundam was
Oh,
the...
I'm sorry.
Yeah. The Gundam guy had...
I'm not an expert at this at all, so
The
correct me
Gundam...
when
Yeah,
I'm wrong.
the guy in the Gundam had blues, and then the guy in the Zaku had... I mixed it up. Gundam jazz, Xeon blues.
Yeah, so the
Yeah.
Gundam guy has this little pirate radio. He's always listening to jazz. He broadcasts, his whole thing is when you hear the music, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
Basically, and that just played a lot throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
I didn't notice the blues as much.
Yeah.
I think
I think...
definitely hear this guy's jazz
Yeah.
all over the place.
Just jazzing all over everybody. Up in your face.
But it was cool. I
On your
like
arms.
that. And just listening to it without having seen it either, I just kind of imagine almost a bar fight or something.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a really interesting dichotomy between the sort of brutality and
Yeah.
the music.
Kind of...
Those are just the opposing forces of those genres.
Yeah, I thought it worked really well together. And then, to talk about events that happen in the thing itself, it just kind of deals with, the really fucked up implications of that kind of war. You have a guy, who can pilot the Xeon guy can pilot his Zaku so much better because he's got his legs amputated and he's got, prosthetics that hook directly into the systems. And, like, they're getting desperate. He has his, like, left arm blown off at one point, and they're getting really desperate. So one of the doctors says, like, you're going to have to cut his other arm off just so he can pilot this thing better. And there's also a bunch of, like, 14, 15-year-old kids just getting sent out in, like,
a whole big battalion of children.
Yeah. And, like, they just die. Like, they just blow up, and they're like, holy shit, he just died. Like just a minute ago, they were just like, whoa, it's a Gundam. They're taking pictures with it, and then, they just go out and, like, get blown up, picked off like it's nothing.
Definitely not a kid's cartoon.
No, especially if you watch the subtitle version I did, a lot of the dialogue was like, fuck you, and, eat shit and die, which was great.
When did this come out?
There was a manga that came out.
Old.
No, I think there was a manga that came out like a few years ago, and it's adapted from that. And the animation was done like last year and earlier this year, so it's fairly recent.
Yeah, I like that it was, I guess, more or less a self-contained thing.
Yeah,
and it was
really
kind of a. Like there was any really ground in space, but kind of a ground level. Just slice of life, I guess, if you will.
Yeah, very like kind of down to earth in space type thing. You really like a lot of wars. A lot of Gundam even deals with kind of like it's kind of like all right. If the main Gundam series is Star Wars, this is Rogue One.
Okay.
I guess.
We haven't seen Rogue One yet, so
Probably.
See an early
we
screening.
may not want to invite that comparison yet.
It might be because like in the main Gundam series you got Amuro and Char, and they're like Luke and Vader. They're going at it. They got kind of a rivalry going on. Not a direct comparison, obviously, because they're not related. But you've got your main characters. They've got a destiny and everything. And then like in Gundam Thunderbolt, it's just like anyone can die. They don't like if anyone dies in this, it won't really have a big effect on it.
Yeah, I like the whole thing at the end between these two main guys.
Yeah.
Once he's had all his limbs amputated and stuff, and that pretty much is what allows him to defeat the guy, and they take him in, and I guess they're sort of torturing him or interrogating him at the end.
Yeah.
And they come face to face at the end, and he's
For the first time, they've actually seen each other.
and then he's just like the Gundam guy, the jazz guy.
Yes. The guy with the Super Saiyan
Like,
hair?
it's basically just making fun of his fact that he's an amputee. It's
Yeah.
like, well, war is horrible, and you say you did this to, put a stop to the war, save lives, or whatever, but you loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like we both enjoyed this
Yeah.
on some level. I'm just willing to admit it.
Yeah.
See, the guy was really fucked up in the head, which is kind of great because
He's probably the most normal.
which is kind of great because you'll see that a little bit, but like usually the main Gundam pilot in a Gundam series is like, I'm on the side of justice. I don't like this. I don't like what I'm doing, but I got to do it.
Yeah.
And
kind of like that. Turn that whole thing into like you
that-
say that, but you part of enjoys it too.
Yeah. So I guess rating Thunderbolt. Speaking as a Gundam series, I give it a 10 out of 10. As a movie, maybe a 9.
Instant classic.
Didn't actually see the movie, so I mean, I guess the
movie is just the series.
more or less an
It's-
hour. Yeah, it's more or less like an hour.
Yeah, the movie's not even longer than an hour.
Yeah, not even
So
a full movie length.
It's the same thing.
Didn't watch. I did just watch. Is the movie the English dub?
Yeah.
So I haven't seen that. I didn't really know what to compare it to. The subtitles didn't really bother me
Yeah.
that much. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Another thing I'd like to say,
it was good.
the art style was like very kind of 90s anime looking too, which I really liked. Reminded me, especially with the jazz playing,
It did. I
had a very Cowboy Bebop kind of feel to it.
Love that
I guess
shit.
to say I didn't really notice anything about the animation. It was kind of what I remembered, I guess. So that's- I guess plays in it. I guess it's probably the same as the series it was, or the time period it was taken from.
Yeah, a little bit. It's more updated because the original Gundam was
I would
made
assume. I don't remember. It's been forever.
Well, the original Gundam was made in '79, which like it almost had like Dr. Seuss looking moments in it when you watch it now, but it's kind of sort of
Myers, Dr. Seuss, or
good Dr. Seuss, like actual Dr. Seuss.
So Mike Myers.
But it's
where's that sequel?
right.
Where's Mike Myers?
Right?
That's the better question.
Waiting for Shrek 5. Yeah, it's...
Austin Powers come back.
Actually, I think
They've talked
aren't
about
they
it.
working
Yeah.
on?
Yeah, I think he is working on a script for it.
Wayne's World.
I would love the Wayne's World 3. It probably wouldn't be that good. But
No, it would be
I
probably
love the
pretty
first two
awful.
movies.
We don't have Lemmy. It's like
Yeah,
might be
we got Ozzy. Bring Ozzy.
I guess that's the closest you
Yeah.
can get now.
So do you want to give a Dave rating to
Mainstream?
Gundam Thunderbolt?
Sounds like a clean sweep for positivity on this episode, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys might even want to check
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
the Gundam Thunderbolt.
I would recommend it. It's only an hour.
Or The Life of Brian or Goldfinger.
Yeah.
Even though I think you guys have both seen both of those. But,
Probably.
It's been a while, so I may revisit.
Yeah.
but now we've all seen
I
it.
found a
Yeah.
research update. The Man with the Golden Gun was the Christopher Lee
Oh,
Bond.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
yeah, that's where
Roger Moore, I believe, was Bond.
So many of these movies are all about gold.
I mean, Sean's
19,
my
there's
favorite. needless to say.
1974, so.
I like Roger Moore too.
all right. So, do you want to go first in the recommendation? I think I know
for
what
the
it
next
is.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I pretty much told you as much earlier. Another franchise. It's another kind of James Bond. And there is actually a James Bond connection, but I'm not going to make you watch that one first because I think you should just start with Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark,
All right.
the first one.
Okay.
And then I would it may or may not be your,
Everyone clapped.
it may or may not be your actual next one, but Sean Connery's in The Last Crusade.
Okay.
The next one is basically Spielberg and George Lucas
Yeah.
are kind of like James Bond is basically Indiana Jones'
Yeah.
father,
Mhm.
and then he
I'm a big
plays
fan.
him in the third.
Big
movie.
fan of that movie.
You could
Right.
completely skip Temple of Doom. It's not good at all, and you could skip Crystal Skull.
I like Temple of Doom well enough. It's definitely the weakest.
It's a prequel.
It's a prequel because
George Lucas is great with prequels.
Yeah, that's,
It's more Spielberg.
I mean, it's still
than
got its
Lucas.
moments that
Yeah.
I like, where Indy's being Indy, but
yeah,
it's definitely
It's
the weakest.
definitely not,
You
not
can-
as good as Raiders, not as
It's
good
the
as Last
weakest.
Crusade.
and you can definitely skip Crystal Skull. That movie's terrible.
I'm
It's
gonna
got
watch it
Shia,
first.
though, so you
Yeah, I
you
gotta watch it, Jake. I mean, it's got Shia.
My
My motivational
It's not
speaker.
great, but I.
Alright.
If you're gonna,
as much
that's
as
the
a lot of
thing with
people seem to.
with a franchise it's only got 4 movies.
Yeah.
I'm all for you got to watch them all, good or bad. Just to be
Again,
like,
you're only required to watch
seeing
this
it.
one first.
No, no,
so-
yeah.
I'll start with this one and go
Yes,
from there.
yes,
but
yes.
And yeah, kind of like with Bond, I probably won't give you another Bond, just
Yeah.
to give you a taste, and you can go explore on your
That's
own.
kind of the
but
best way to do this.
kind of get these action
Yeah.
As far as
franchises.
franchises, yeah.
Yeah.
going.
All right.
But anyway, what's mine?
Clockwork Orange.
All right, cool.
Yeah, because I kind of.
It's been on the list forever, so.
Yeah.
Stan Lee, Stan Lee, Stan Lee.
Stan Lee?
Stan Lee.
Fun little
directed
anecdote I
this.
heard recently. Stan
Stan
Lee
Lee,
has
Stan Lee,
offered
Stan Lee.
an olive branch to DC to appear in their movies.
That'd be cool. He did
Like
write some DC
cameo?
stuff at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
He's
So-
like, they need me.
So next one of these, which might be in a week, might be in a month, might be 3 months.
Maybe 3 years. We don't even know.
Yeah,
but
who knows?
hopefully not that
At some
long.
point, yeah, I will have seen Raiders of the Lost Ark, and Dave will have seen Clockwork Orange.
so-
All right. Until next time, everybody, you can all go fuck yourselves.